Hi guys, sorry if there's noise. My friends are watching a movie or something. So the thing with dating when you're trans, like Julius pointed out, if you hear what someone's sexuality is, that gives you zero idea of whether they're interested in you or not, right? Which is kind of fucked up. When you're dealing with people who ostensibly don't like men, they might have like a trans exception clause. The trans guys will identify as straight 99% of the time, and then when they interact with you and they're like, oh, so are you interested in dating me or whatever, and you're like, well, I thought you were straight. And they're like, well, I'm actually pansexual. And it's like, oh, so you're pansexual when it's convenient for getting into my pants, but you are not pansexual to your cisgendered friends, coworkers, etc. For anyone who knows my ex, like, I'm not describing that to him, sort of. He identified as straight on OkCupid, and that's how we met. And I was a straight female back then. I identified as genderqueer, and that was clearly on my profile, but I had a female profile. We started talking, and then he mentioned that he was pansexual, and I was like, let's meet up. Clearly we were together for a long time, me and my ex, and then I sort of like felt him pulling away. I wrote him a long letter where I'm like, you just don't seem like happy to be around me all the time or whatever. He was like, yeah, I think we should break up, and because he was straight, basically. In that case, the trans exception clause wasn't holding, so that kind of put me off. Well, it put me off from trying that for like 2 minutes until I was like, I'm sad and single, like, I want to try this again. But the other thing with him is, he was on T, so it was changing. So if I met a trans guy who basically did the same thing, but he'd been on T for a while, like, I'd be more willing to give it a shot. I'm sort of open to dating men and women, more or less. I definitely prefer dating someone who's queer. It doesn't matter which way. I tend to like pretty boys to the point where I prefer a butch lesbian over a cisgendered dude. So, like, I don't get it. My therapist just keeps saying, it's so fluid, everything's so fluid. And I'm like, okay, therapist, but I would like a nice convenient label, like, to explain myself, you know, one where hopefully people will, you know, be interested in me as I'm interested in them, and not just like, I don't know. If I turn out straight for butch lesbians, I'm gonna punch a higher power in the balls. The really androgynous masculine women that I think are really sexy are, you know, generally identify as being into women. And I'm saying this like from OkCupid, like from looking at this website, this is what I'm seeing. I'm sure there are lots of reasons to avoid being bisexual on OkCupid. There's lots of requests for threesomes and things like that that are unpleasant if you're not into that. What I'm curious about with these kinds of women is, I'm sure there are lots of reasons that people like to be butch, and I'm sure a lot of it is sort of gender presentation, like what we go through, like sort of dysphoria kind of stuff, or maybe just like, oh, preference for wearing certain things and acting a certain way. But on the other hand, I wonder if there's a certain kind of like power balance that is appealing to them, or like being like in this sort of heteronormative, like masculine to someone else's feminine. So, in which case I'm screwed, obviously, because I'm not feminine. I will not wear a skirt for anyone anymore. Okay, bye.